Hello and welcome to Bulela Podcast. I have another episode of Shimika Conmigo, and I have an amazing, talented, young Zambian woman who is a guest. She is a photographer. Her name is Namukolo Siyumbwa. She's the owner of Eness Photography. I'm going to leave information in the description box so you can find out more about her and her work. But this interview will give you insight on the creative aspects as well as the business side of running a photography business in Zambia. This episode is going to be divided into part 1 and part 2, so please enjoy. Remember, I promised a couple of weeks ago that I would have a giveaway. Well, that time has arrived. If you follow Bulela Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, you know that the giveaway has already been running for over a week. I am giving away talk time to women aged between 19 and 30 years old in Zambia. You must be a Bulela Podcast listener or viewer. For the T's and C's, please be sure to check the pinned post on the Facebook page. So quickly, let's get into this episode. Remember to share the podcast. Remember to listen and interact with Bulela Podcast on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and I will catch you in the next episode of Bulela Podcast. Hi, Kolo.
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. This is perfect.
Actually, let me get back a little bit. There we go. That's better.
All right. So I'm sorry about the initial move from here, move from there. I'm so sorry. Okay.
It's all right. I think all technicalities, not your fault.
Yes. I think. Okay. So I'll just get into this quickly. Okay. I'm going to those who are watching this on YouTube or those listening on the podcast today. I have the good fortune of being able to sit down and chat with Namukolo. She's going to tell us about herself. She's a photographer. And she does a lot of amazing work. If you are in this live now on IG, you can go on her profile and check her out. But later there will be information in the description box with links to where you can find her on social media. I'm supposed to have my questions up. They are right here. If I look down, it's because I want to just make sure I'm following the order. Okay, right. So first up, are you a Bulela Podcast fan, and which one's your favorite episode?
I have heard about it, and podcasts are not usually my thing because I have an attention issue. So, it's usually difficult for me to listen to most podcasts. But I will get on it like right after this one because, I have to due process, right? I have to just do it.
Well, at least listen to this one afterwards, your own episode, yeah? And make sure you share it with everyone you know. Okay? Yes. Okay, so enough with the self-promo, okay? Of Bulela Podcast. Please, Kolo. I don't know, I'm switching between Namukolo and Kolo. Please tell me, what do you prefer?
Either is fine. Most people call me Kolo.
All right. Kolo, please give us a brief intro. I've tried, but I don't think I've done. She's a photographer. Come on. It's like I'm making your work small, please. So tell us about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you do, and so on.
All right. So I'm Namukolo Siyumbwa of Eness Photography, and I am a photographer. If you want to just summarize it, yes, it's the only thing I do so far as a business. I've worked formally as a photographer for the past 6 years. Formally for 4 years and freelance for 2 years. Yeah, but in total,
Okay.
yeah, in total six. Yeah, but yeah. So when I started, it was like part time while when I was like fully employed by doing something else. I was a scientist, and
Ah,
yeah, so I was doing it like part time, just on weekends, just to make a little more money. Also, just like having a hobby that kind of paid. So that was kind of cool. And then in 2018 December, that's when I decided to go full time, and it's been good ever since. Yeah. I mostly work alone, but every now and then I will get friends to help me with certain like large projects, like say from shooting at an event, like weddings or large event, and those kind of things. I will have somebody with me, but I most primarily work alone. I mostly do portraits. I do families for portraits or events. I do some corporate events, but preferably small ones because, like I said, I usually work alone. So
yeah.
I can't carry out like large projects. But I have been asked by different people to like also help them with different projects on either if it's corporate or if it's weddings, things like that. I'll go as part of the team. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you heard, Kolo does mostly photography. She does small events. She does portraits. You have to go and check her portfolio. Okay. I will leave the link of her website. Okay. Yeah, you can also check out her Instagram. Oh, I love everything this woman does. Fangirling there. So I mean, I don't know if people heard or they're guessing. Kolo, she's Zambian. So, and I
Oh
mostly
yes, yes,
speak with Zambian people
yeah.
on this podcast. So, my next question is, Kolo, do you think your roots influence your work as a photographer?
I think most definitely because the thing is that you can only give out where you're coming from, basically. I mostly grew up in like urban areas, so all I can give mostly is like you say, an urban story whenever I'm able to actually tell it. I'm also heavily influenced by some things that I watch, some things that I read. So when I get experimental, when I'm trying out some fine art photography or conceptual photography, those are the things that will heavily inspire the arts that I'm trying to make. Oh yeah, so yeah, by the way, also like
Okay.
I'm aspiring to make art. I already make a few images that are like, from, my imagination and stories. So far, yeah.
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 Okay. So yes, I love that you said you try to make art. No, you don't try. You do make art. Okay. And I want people, who come in and out of the live to check out your Instagram, your website, and they will see what I mean. I'm not just talking to Kolo because yes, obviously I'm a fan, but then I'm a fan because she does such amazing work.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. You're welcome. What is the one thing you wish you knew when you started taking photos or when you started as a photographer?
When I started as a photographer, I wish that I didn't jump straight into Photoshop.
Yeah.
It's actually a very funny story because like when I was in university, I was doing like all my science things and everything. But like in my spare time, I liked to play with Photoshop with some pictures that I'll take with my camera. So I learned Photoshop
Yes.
before I learned Lightroom. And for most people who know, Photoshop is very edit heavy or like it's a little more what's it complex than Lightroom. Yeah. And so for the first events that I tried to take pictures of and everything, I'm trying to edit everything in Photoshop. It was it was
Yeah.
very overwhelming. Try to like anybody will tell you like try to like what's this edit an event over Photoshop is actually it's a lot of time taking as compared to just using Lightroom, which like has like instant edits and it makes it more streamlined. Another thing that's close to that, I wish I knew how expensive it was.
Ah.
Yeah. Because I just like got one camera and I thought that maybe like that was it. I didn't really need more than that. But then it turns out I need much more than that just to produce the best quality work that I want to produce. Some people are just fine with just using the camera and maybe a couple of lenses for the type of stuff that they do, especially if you just do very minimal photography. But for the stuff that I want to create, I need a little more.
Yeah. Okay, so the use of Photoshop, the use of camera gear. Yes. So you aspiring photographers, please take notes. Okay. How did you get good at photography? Because I mean, you can see the evolution of your work, even on your IG, your business or your personal one. So how did you get better and improve and so
on? Let's see. So when I was formerly employed, when I took interest in photography, I used to binge on photography tutorials, and I mean absolutely binge. I was probably keeping track of at least 6 photographers at the time, and I would be like taking notes of tips to try and things like that. But only to realize some of the tips don't really apply here. They probably wouldn't work the same here. It took me a while to realize that. But yeah, so I binged heavy on YouTube tutorials. I went on photo walks with other photographers. I used to I shadowed a few photographers as I was still learning, just to get some tips and tricks on how to do this and that. And even up to now, I still watch tutorials when I'm a bit when I'm trying to learn something new when it comes to photography, because there's always something new to learn. Yeah.
Okay, I love the bit that you said that. Yes, you use YouTube. It's a great resource. Even I use it in my content creation. But then also, I love that you put the element. You said that not all the tips were applicable. Which is very true, because most of these, let's say, big content creators in different fields. Let's just talk about podcasting. Like, you can monetize this, you can do this, you can pinch it.
Yeah.
Does it work for me? Do I want to do that? I mean, can I do that? Do I have the resources? So it's good that you mentioned that. It's good that you mentioned that. What gear do you use? For your work. I mean, you did mention camera. You have several, so you could tell us maybe about 1 or 2, if you like.
I currently have 2 cameras, so digital cameras. So I have the Nikon D3400 and the Nikon D5200. Both of these are crop sensor cameras because full frame is a bit expensive at the moment, but I'm working towards getting a full frame. But they work very well for me. I like the results that I get, especially on my D3400. Yeah. My lenses that I love to use my 50 millimeter. I love to use my 85 millimeter. I have a 35, 55 to 200, and 18 to 55 millimeter. And yeah, so but my primary lenses are the 50 and the 85. Those are my favorite to use.
Okay. All right, so you're a Nikon girl. Nikon, if you watch this, gift Colo some stuff, please. Please. Okay. So on a standard shoot, what do you have in your photography bag? I mean, you've mentioned all your cameras, your lenses, and you talked about a preference. So if we said, if we had to do a clip of what's in my camera bag,
What's in my camera bag? All right, so I usually carry my D3400. That's the camera. The 50 millimeter, 85 millimeter, and the 18 to 55 millimeter. Those are lenses. Okay. Yeah. Then I have my speed light. I can't remember the brand. It's one of these third-party brands.
Okay.
Yeah, I have my triggers for my light. I
Uh-huh.
have what else? I have my color gels. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. I used them yesterday, but most times for photography, I don't use them very, very often.
Okay.
Um, I'm trying to remember, like I can remember the company. I carry my chargers as well, the chargers for the double A batteries and
Yes.
the camera charger as well. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's about as minimal as you can get.
Okay.
Outside the
Okay. No, no. So,
yeah, outside the camera
and
bag.
you,
Yeah, yeah, it's a
okay.
backpack. It's a backpack. Yeah,
Good. Good, 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 good. All right, all right, all right, all right. So I love, so you're going to send me some photos, and when this this part comes on, I
yeah,
will have the photos on the side, okay?
awesome.
And I'm going to tag Nikon so much when I post this post edit. Oh my God, they're going to not be happy. No, but yeah, they have to know. They have to know.
They have to know.
But yes, but thanks for that, because sometimes we think, oh yeah, I'm going to ask a photographer to come to my event, or I need a photographer, and there's a lot of misconceptions. I remember I spoke to one, and they just thought I would just arrive with my one little camera or something. So it's good that you mentioned what it is that you have.
Yeah,
Okay, so back to equipment. Okay, among the stuff, or not the stuff, the equipment that you own, lenses, cameras, is
yeah.
there something that you own that you sort of regret a little bit, like, oh no, maybe I shouldn't have bought that? What piece of equipment is it?
Let's see. So yeah, they're not in my bag. So they're these like foldable light diffusers. They they're
Ah,
they're completely useless to me. I have like two of them. I don't even know why I have two, how I ended up with two, but as in, like just the one that I got was really disappointing enough. So they're in a drawer somewhere. They don't work very well, no.
okay, okay, okay. All
Yeah.
right, all right, all right. Good, 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 good. Because we always see the typical advert, for camera equipment, and they try to sell not just to you as a photographer, but even us as content creators. You need
Yeah.
this, you need that. Thanks for sharing about the diffusers, okay?
Sure.
Um, so you talked about your the different events that you go to, you do portrait photography, no, the different events, no, that you do event photography, you do
Yeah.
portrait photography. So
Yeah.
what is your favorite setting?
My favorite setting?
Mhm.
My favorite setting yeah, the stuff that I lean more towards is studio with a black backdrop. I love
Ah,
black and white photos. Yeah. So yeah, dark. I think I'll send you pictures of like dark themed photos so that they can see what the kind of theme that I like to go with. Yeah. Um, yeah. So those are my favorite. The dark, moody kind of photos are my favorite.
okay. I
Yeah.
have to say, I mean, you did post, you said there was like a Twitter thread you did recently of portraits of yourself. And I
Yes.
just said, I don't know, Kolo should just get a modeling deal. Because I mean it was very nice. It was no really, really, really the outfits, the backdrop, the lighting, and then you've done other you like to use or work with, not use, you like to work with a few models. There's one, I think she's Bold Medusa. I might be
Yes. Yeah.
mispronouncing her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then also there's a whole shoot a couple of months or a year or two ago that you did with her and three or two
Yeah.
other
Yeah. Yeah.
women. Oh, so beautiful.
Thank
And yeah, anyways, I love your work, so I'm gonna keep quiet and let you talk. Yeah.
you.
What
Right.
else?
Yeah. So yeah, those yeah. So earthy tones and dark vibes. Those are my favorite. Those are my favorite type to go with.
Okay, brilliant.
Mhm.
Check out her Instagram. Check out her Instagram. So you see. Okay. All right. So okay, you basically, I guess when you talk about setting, you've already mentioned your photographic style. How did you develop your style? You know, how long did it take you to develop it? Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to say how long it took me to develop it. That would be a bit difficult because
Okay.
when I first started out, I didn't have a particular style. I still don't. I
Yeah.
have. I still don't think I have a particular style. I just like there's some styles that are my go-tos, but I don't
Yeah.
know if it would be like. I don't know if you put a picture that I've taken, like, and then you don't tell anybody that I took it, if they'll be able to know that that's what I did. Um,
Ah.
I'd love to know that would be the case, but I wouldn't know myself if somebody came across a photo and you don't know who it is, but they'll be able to guess that it's me.
Okay.
But yeah. So I don't have a particular photographic style. I just have like styles that I like to use depending on my mood and depending on what I'm going to go for. Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Now, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, obviously, also you might have periods where a particular look or particular shade or
Yeah.
tone or whatever,
Yeah.
moves you, and it's what you want to do. Yeah. Or people will see your work and they're like, "Oh, I love this. I want that." So, you know. Okay. All right. We're not boxing you in anything. Um. You know. Particularly, okay? Out of all your photos, this year, just this year, okay, we're in
Okay.
the fifth month of the year. What has been your favorite um, photo and why? Maybe picking one is difficult, so maybe you could.
I'll be right back.
Okay, good. I love this.
I hope that you can
All right, cool.
see. Yeah, this one was my favorite. I'm trying to make sure the reflection is true. Yeah.
Oh man, it's Hollow, and it's one of the photos that she put in the thread. I will ask her for a photo or something later, so I can make it
Yeah.
clearer on the side. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah. So I got it. I had like this year. I wanted to experiment with prints and frames, especially. So this one was, but it's my favorite of this year because it's like the one project I've managed to actually finish. Like I've got it printed. I got it printed at Striji, and I got it framed by Art Shop Zambia.
okay. Look
Yeah,
at
and they,
that. Look at that.
yeah, they did a
Uh,
great job,
I
and I
love
love it.
it. No, I love it. I mean, you see the photo on either your IG or your other social media, but then to see the finished version is really nice. Colo in the future might be selling her work, so you're keep tabs on this woman, please. Keep tabs on this woman.
And that's it for part one. Please stay tuned and listen to part two of my interview with Namukolo Siyumbwa of Eness Photography. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. And yes, I look forward to hearing your views about this part one interview. Please feel free to share your views, comments on Bulela Podcast social media, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I will catch you in the next episode. This has been Ingo 2.